Talking about real estate, you talking about really changing your legacy. And one of the things that I've learned, one of the many things I've learned is that real estate can do that. Who wants to learn how to make some money in real estate? See, here's the thing I learned about real estate. Everything is real estate. Where we're at right now, what is this? Where is this? Real estate. Somebody is making money while we're in here right now. Where you live at right now, what is that? Where you work at, what is that? Anything and everything we do is real estate. And so that's why I put this event together. And so the first speaker I'm going to bring up is a really good friend of mine. We got a little echo here, DJ. Okay. All right, we're going to work through it. So I got first guest I'm going to bring up here is a really good friend of mine who is one of the top realtors out here in Las Vegas. But more importantly, he's not just a realtor, he's also a real estate investor. And it's really important that you partner with realtors who are investors, because there's two different sides of the coin when it comes to real estate. See, an investor is going to show you how the deal makes sense for you so you can build your real estate portfolio. And that's one of the things that this gentleman has done. And so I'm going to let him share his story. He's going to also talk to you guys about not only just a little bit about the Las Vegas real estate market, but some other strategies on how to get in investment properties by house hacking. Who knows what house hacking is? That's where you can get in a house and it doesn't cost you a lot of money. Because bottom line, what we're going to teach you guys here, and I want to see who gets excited for this. We're going to teach you guys how to get into real estate investing with no money out of your pocket. Who wants to learn how to do that?
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to ask for a couple favors from you guys. You guys with me? You guys with me? Yeah. All right, the first favor. I need you guys to give this man a standing ovation, because he's come a long way, all the way from the mean streets of Las Vegas. Some of y'all will catch that on the way. I need you guys to give my good friend, my brother, and business partner, Aaron Dunbar, Las Vegas realtor, a round of applause.
What's up, Las Vegas? First of all, I want to say thank you, everyone who took the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I want to invest in me. And the other person is Will Roundtree. So everybody give a round of applause for Will for creating this event. So I met Will probably about 12 years ago. We had, one job where he was killing it. And I'm like, new person, how do I even get in on something like this? So I did that job. I hated it. Went to another job. I saw Will. I'm like, dang, Will, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You back on the team, different team, so let me show you something. Well, I couldn't show him anything because he was trying to show me something about credit. And at the time, I got my first property, and I was like, I'm cool. The reality was my credit was in the mids, right? Super mid. So later on, Will quit his job. And then on Facebook, this dude came out with a book. I was like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. So, we reconnected. And I just want to say, Will, I got my credit up. We gonna do this. So just a little bit about me. Real estate investor, also licensed realtor. So I got quite a few properties in Las Vegas. And what I want to do is I want to run you through some strategies for the everyday person. Banks love W-2 employees, okay? So some of you guys out here who have a regular job, that's great. Stick to that, because this is ways that you can leverage in getting into properties. So anybody is familiar with FHA, 3.5%, right? Okay. Well, I want to tell you something. As a realtor, I always get this. So is it a good time to buy? What do you think? Yes. Not because I'm trying to sell you something, but the reality is there's a lot of plays when you get into your first property, because you're paying somebody to pay rent right now. that landlord is getting rich. You're not paying no debt down. There's no form of equity, I would say, right? And at the end, you're not really setting yourself up for a big bank account and success. So my first property, I got it in FHA, that's 3.5%, right? So I got into my 3.5% deal. And, I just sat in the house for probably about, 5 years, 6 years, didn't make no moves. Fast forward, I started learning a little bit more about the financing and how I can leverage my property. I knew I had some money in there, but I told myself, nah, man, when I run my business, that's when I'm gonna tap in. Well, what I actually learned was FHA. Let me ask y'all this question. How many FHAs can you have over a lifetime?
As many as you refi out.
I love that. As many as you can refi out. So I didn't know that I had enough money in my property to refi out and have another FHA. So property number 2, I did something different. I was looking for a house, and then at the same time, I was also trying to help my mom. That's right. So my mom and I, we kind of shacked up for a little bit, trying to find a property that had like a casita in the back or maybe a larger property. And then something kind of dawned to me. I was like, you know what? There's some apartments out here. So house hacking. I was able to acquire a 4-unit apartment with 3.5% down. So, I'm gonna tell you this, when you do something like that and not, able to put in 20% into the deal or have the ability to, empty your bank account or, I don't know if I can get this one. This is a strategy that a lot of people won't tell you about. So refining out your property, getting out the FHA, move on to the next. So I took that, made it work, and then later on, I'm like, I got to get out of this place. So in Las Vegas, if you are investing in 4 units, y'all know where Hollywood is, right? Y'all know where Eastern and Bonanza is, right? It's hood over there. So you have to also understand that house hacking is just not like, oh, cool, I just got to play, I'm able to make it work. But the reality is you have to learn how to fight the homeless. You have to learn how to obey through tenant laws. Also be certified through the city because the city is now requiring licensing. So there's a little extra to that, right? And I can share later after the mixer. But reality is I got that 4-unit. I'm ready to get out. So I started talking to some lenders. I found a program that, hey, conventional, dang, I might have to put in 20%. I'm just assuming the numbers. Well, this particular lender was able to get me my 3rd property for as low as 5%. So I was able to acquire 3 properties in Las Vegas. The portfolio is looking about 1.5, and they're all under 5%. So this is something that anyone can do. I promise y'all. I ain't come from silver spoon in my plate, none of that, right? All I did was just really ask questions. One thing that some people used to tell me, they would say, hey, keep your dreams to yourself. Don't share too much to the world, because someone might kill it. But I share my dreams, and someone heard and was able to help have a solution to my problems. So this room right here, this is why it's important that we are all together having these conversations. Talk about what you're trying to do because someone got the answer, right? So just wanted to share that piece. And as of this year, I promise you, no, thank you. Sorry, I should have let that air out, you know what I'm saying? I'm going a little too fast. So another thing is this year, I already have another strategy. And I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you this. Because, let's make this worth its while. So I will be acquiring my 4th property. Thank you. So Yes, my fourth property will also be under 5%. So I found out that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, these two government honchos, they allow you to purchase a property under 5% for a blood relative. Yes, my mom needs a house. For real. So I'll go through that loan process. I'll be able to have more details into that. But again, these are strategies for the day in, day out workers. You know, I mean, W-2 employees, I promise you, banks love y'all, right? Because these are traditional loans that you can utilize and strategize to get into your next property. So if you guys want to know how to close or what to do to close a property in 90 days, I promise you, use one of these strategies, you will get one in 90 days. I mean, while I'm up here, you guys have any questions that maybe you want to shoot to me? Because, okay, we got a couple. Go with you first.
Oh, thank you. The blood relative.
Yes.
Does it have direct, like can be your cousin, blood?
So it could be cousin. You know, what's interesting was, you know, they didn't say you have to take a DNA test or anything like that, right? So they definitely threw it out there like, yo, what you could do is basically, you know, if it's your mom, if it's your cousin, they just have to show some form of documentation. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You had your hand up next. Thank you.
Now, I know you said that you have any FHA loan as long as you refi out.
Yes.
So does that mean when you refi out, that particular loan is no longer considered an FHA loan?
Yes.
That's why you go and get the next one.
Yeah. So there's two different types of loans. You have an FHA and then you have conventional. So conventional financing is basically where there's either equity already in the property or you are putting down money to, you know, subsidize that property to make it a conventional. So usually you get to your first property, 3.5%. Your second property turns into an investment property. So they see that on your credit report. And if you already have an FHA, you automatically have to go with a conventional. So with a conventional, usually it's 20% down. So, I mean, imagine purchasing a property in Las Vegas for $350,000. You have to put 20% down. That's minus closing costs with the lender, right? So it's almost like 25%. So that's why I look at, well, if you have enough equity, which today, when I say, is it a good time to buy? Yes. Interest rates are high. The market is flattening, right? So when you get in, it's going to pick back up. And in the case of a year or two things will happen. Prices will go back up and interest rates will go right back down. And that's when you get to refinance. Hey, I want to get a better rate. Oh, and there's equity in there. So can we do it as a conventional instead of another FHA? Yeah, sure. And then when you do that, guess what? You have an FHA available. Now you can go ahead and live in your next property using an FHA loan. That make sense? Yeah. Thank you.
Just to spin off of the blood relative thing she asked for first. What if they already own a home? Are you looking for a blood relative that doesn't have their own house to apply for that?
Yes, so that's the purpose of the blood relative strategy. So they can't have a home,
Okay.
right? So, and it also uses their income.
Got it. And I think the other question was more about the FHA thing, because I was wondering how you're getting past the one. Is there like an income criteria limitation on an FHA qualification? I think.
So I would tell you I'm not a lender, so, you know, politically, but it's based off pre-approval, right? So your first property, you definitely need to see if you qualify. Once you qualify, if it's a FHA, then what you can do is move in. The real strategy is when you get to that second property, you want to make sure someone's in your first property to rent it out.
Sure. And
Because
you have to live in the FHA property. It can't be rent it to somebody else, like you can't stay at your primary.
No.
You have to move along with it. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Correct. Yes.
And how long before you can refi?
Shoot, you can refi in 6 months. But, you know, in a market like this, you got to sit on it for a little bit. You want to make sure that you do the math right. If you're going to go ahead and refinance, don't refinance and find out that you don't have any equity in a property and you're going to stick to another FHA, because that's all they'll do. What else? What else, you guys? Or you know what? Let's do this. Let's save the questions for the end, right? And I want to say, I hope I deliver some content that might, you know, you can see the light of within these 90 days of how you can close on a property. But thank y'all so much for having me and my time. I'm going to bring Will back up. Man, thank y'all, Las Vegas.
Aaron Dunbar, he giving y'all some game.